Hey there YouTube, it's just me Ted 1969 here, and we're looking at some bushcrafting that I'm doing. It's a wooden mallet made out of some fallen trees that have come down with Hurricane Fiona a few weeks ago. And I figure I might as well put the wood that fell to good use rather than see it go to waste. Some of it can be firewood in a season or two, but you know, there's a lot of things you can do, and this was a project I saw a guy do. I think it was Coal Cracker or I forget. Gray-bearded Green Beret. Somebody's bushcrafting 10 bushcraft projects in 10 minutes. So anyway, I sawed the length of wood, obviously, and I sawed so deep around in a kind of a circular pattern down there at the bottom of the striking head. And then I just whittled it down with the axe. First taking some pretty rough splits, and you could only go down so deep, but it's been a lot of work, I must say. This is the second real day that I've been at it, and by gosh, it's still not done. A good afternoon of carving with a knife might do it, but yeah, this is not a project you'd be doing an afternoon in the woods with other priorities like feeding yourself and making fire and shelter. So it's something, you know, kind of mid to long-term project. It's definitely a marathon project and not a sprint. So you'd be doing that over the course of a few days, and eventually, you know, going from maybe a lean-to shelter or something along that line real quick and dirty. And you would use this to pound some poles in to make something a bit more substantial if you were looking at a long-term stay in the woods for whatever reason. And yeah, she's a good swinging rig. I wish I could have made the handle longer, but I just didn't see that happening and being able to strike it down with the axe and whittle it down that way. So yeah, between the knots and the twists in the wood, a little untenuous. So the tools I've used to do it are basically the hatchet here and this crude baton. That's just the length of wood from a smaller diameter branch. And the agawa saw, which is real handy until you really strike wet wood and it just wants to bind up the blade with the suction of the water inside. And also too, when you're cutting a tree that's already horizontal like this, if the tree is kind of pressing down and you're cutting down, the V that you're cutting is going to compress the saw blade like that as the weight of the tree kind of collapses it on the saw. So I've had that happen a few times. So what I did to get around that was just make some wedge cuts with the saw, and then I bought myself an axe, and that seems to do a nice job of it too. And boy oh boy am I not used to swinging axes or hatchets or anything like that. So I'll sleep well tonight of this between all the fresh air and the exercise. So that's my bushcraft project, and I'll keep you posted on how it's going.